All right. Hey, boys and girls, happy Friday. I am coming on for science today. We are going to do a science experiment where we make our own Play-Doh. I think you guys will enjoy this. You can use your Play-Doh for lots of things, like practicing forming your letters with it. You can break it into pieces and use it for your counting, adding and subtraction that we've been working on, or you can just play with it. It feels fun, right? So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen so I can go over the recipe that I'm using and what you'll need. So you don't have to use the oven for this one. So you need 2 cups of flour. So you're going to need some flour. And you'll need some salt. Okay. You'll need some cream of tartar. 1 tablespoon of oil. So Miss Dailey got vegetable oil, but you can use any oil you have. Canola oil, olive oil, it all works. 1 cup of hot water. So I have some on the side. I have a little bit more than a cup because I'm gonna keep it in case I need extra. And then food coloring if you want to dye it different colors. So I brought some food coloring out. I'm gonna do green and blue today. Okay, so you'll also, of course, need your measuring cups. You need a teaspoon measure and a cup measure, a big bowl to mix it in, and a spoon to stir it up. So I put the list of all the ingredients and the materials you'll need on the bottom of this video, so your parents can get it ready before you start the video, or you can push pause right now and go get the ingredients and come back. Either way works for Miss Dailey. So let's get started. We're just gonna mix all these ingredients together, and as we're mixing, we might have to add a little bit more flour or add a little bit more water depending on what the consistency is. So we're gonna start with our flour. I need 2 cups. So here's my measuring cup. You can see it has a 1. So I'm gonna need to do 2 of these, okay? 2 cups of flour. Here is 1, and I'm gonna move this down so you can see my bowl. 1 cup. And 2 cups, okay? So next on my list, it says I need 1 cup of salt. So I'm gonna use my salt to fill up my cup. Let me move this over so you can see. So I'm gonna pour it in. A lot of salt for this recipe. Oh, the wind's starting to blow. Big salt chunk on the inside. There we go. See if I can shake it up. Break that piece apart. There we go. Okay. So 1 cup of salt. I'm gonna pour that right on in. Okay. So next it says I need 2 tablespoons of cream of tartar. Now you can find this at the grocery store, which I know right now you're not supposed to be going to the grocery store. So if you don't have this at home, Miss Dailey will post another link for a different recipe where you don't have to use this. Okay? I think it comes out better and it lasts longer if you use this, but you don't have to. You can do another recipe. Woo! Got a little messy, but that's okay. So I need 2 of these. This is my tablespoon measure, and I need 2. I'm gonna move my bowl back over. Move this down so you can see what I'm doing. So here is 1. And there is 2. So I have 2 of those. Okay, 2 tablespoons. I love science because it's a chance for me to get all messy. All right, so next I'm gonna need 1 tablespoon of oil. And like I said, I'm gonna use vegetable oil because I think it works a little bit better, but you can use any oil you have at home, okay? You could use canola oil, you could use corn oil, you could use olive oil, sunflower oil, any kind of oil you have at home will work. I just think this works the best. So I need 1 tablespoon, so 1 spoonful of oil. Okay, I'm gonna fill it up one time and dump it in. And then I need 1 cup of hot water, okay? So like I said, I brought out a little bit of extra water because I wasn't sure if I was gonna need extra, so I'm gonna use my cup to measure it. And it needs to be hot water. So I got this out of the sink, my sink, it gets very hot, so if I feel it, it's still pretty warm. But you wanna make sure it's hot, so you might have to ask mom or dad or whoever you're doing this with to warm some water in the microwave for you. So there is 1 cup of water. So now that I have all those in, I'm going to stir it together until it gets to the right consistency. And I'm going to wait to do the food coloring until I put them in the bags because I want to separate it into 2 different groups of colors, okay? So first you can do it with a spoon to help it kind of get together. And like I said, you might have to add a little bit more water as you're going. Now that it's kind of together, Miss Dailey's going to go ahead and use her hands because we all know Miss Dailey likes to get dirty. Right? So you're going to mix it together and it's going to almost feel like you're making a cake or cookies or flour, tortillas maybe. That should be kind of what it feels like. Okay? So I'm mixing and I'm mixing and I have a lot more flour on the bottom. So I'm going to add a tiny bit more water. Not a lot, just a little bit. And then I'm going to keep mixing it together. And it's starting to come together, just like Play-Doh. Okay, I still have quite a bit of flour in the bottom. I'm going to add a little bit more water. Just to try and, whoops, that was a lot. I might end up having to put more flour in. So you just kind of have to keep adding a little bit. That's why it's an experiment. You have to keep playing with it until you get it the right consistency that you want for Play-Doh, okay? Now, because we used all ingredients that are food related that you use for cooking, this is not toxic. So if you wanted to, you could taste it. It's probably not going to taste very good because there's not really any flavoring. It might be really salty because we used a lot of salt. But you can eat it and it won't make you sick. All right. So it is a little wet. I'm going to keep stirring it and see if that makes it better. I think I might be good. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pull it out of my bowl and mush it with my hand. Let me move my computer up so you can see my beautiful face. Well, not quite my face. So you can see my hands. So you can see what it looks and feels like, okay? It's a little watery, but I think it'll be okay. I think it's what I'm looking for Play-Doh. Now, if it feels too watery, what you can do is get a little bit more flour, just like when you make a cake or tortillas, and mix that in. Oh, Miss Dailey's getting flour all over her computer because the wind is blowing. All right. So see how I'm just smushing it together with the flour? And that will help get it to the right consistency. It's just like when you make cake or when you make tortillas with your parents, okay? So now that it is feeling more and more like Play-Doh, I want to turn it a different color. So I am going to use 2 bags to split it into 2 different colors and then squirt the food coloring in that way. That way I don't get it all over my hand because I really just don't want to have blue and green hands today. Okay, let me open my bag up and I'm going to break this in half. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If you want, you can just do 1 color. You don't have to do 2 colors, but I figured it would be fun to have 2 different colors. So I'm going to open my food coloring up, maybe. A little stuck because my hands are so covered. Good thing you guys have help. Okay, so I'm just going to do a couple drops because I can always add more if it's not the right color. I don't want to put too much. And then I'm going to zip this closed. I'll show it to you so you can see what it looks like. So you can see I put a little bit of green food coloring, and now I can smush it inside of the bag. And it will move the food coloring around to change the color of my plate. Keep moving it. Let me go ahead, now that we're done with our recipe, I'm going to make my screen big. You can see I'm just smushing it in the bag together to kind of move around the food coloring. I think I'm going to have to add some more because it's not quite the green that I want yet. So let me go ahead and put some more in. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's a fire truck going through my neighborhood. It's really loud. Okay. So I put more food coloring in, so I'm just going to smush it together. The good thing about making more than one color is if you have a friend or a brother or a sister that's at your house with you or a cousin, you could smash one color bag and they could smash the other one. So you each get a turn to try. So you can see I'm doing a lot of smashing inside of the bag and slowly it is turning color green. Now again, as you go, you might have to add more food coloring if it's not the right color that you want. So, smushing it just like we do with Play-Doh in the classroom. It's just inside of the bag so that I don't get green all over my hands. So I'm going to take it out and see how it's looking. How it feels. And you can see it looks just like the Play-Doh we use in class, right? Mushy. I can tear it apart and roll it into a ball. I could break it apart and make a snake to form my letters, right? Okay. So if this wasn't the color green that I wanted, I could add some more green. But I think I'm going to leave it this way because I kind of like that it's a light green. So I am going to put this one to the side, and we're going to do the same thing with the other half that I had, but we're going to put blue in it because I want to have one that's a blue color. So open the bag up and place it inside. And I'm going to pour in my blue food coloring. I'm going to put a lot because I want this to be extra blue. Miss Dailey really likes blue. That's why I made blue slime last week. I'm going to close it up and mush it all together, like we did with the green one. You can do this outside of the bag, but it's going to make your hands a different color. And it's going to be very hard to clean them. So if I were you, I would do it like this at home. So that doesn't get color all over your hands. See it slowly turning blue. All right, I think that's good. I'm going to take it out just so that you can see. I can smush it together some more so that the blue spreads around a little bit more. And If you don't like the color, remember you can always add more. See how I have lots of white space with the blue marbled in? I think I'm going to add in a little bit more blue. So if you want to try and do it, that was a lot of blue, without the bag, just make sure you push the dye into the middle. Then smush it. And you won't get it on your hands as much. But it washes off if you do get it on your hands. It just takes a little while to get it off. So you're going to keep moving it around, and you can see there's where the dye is coming through. And if it looks like it's getting a little dry and cracked, like you can see this one is, I can just add a tiny bit of water on top. And that will help clean it up some more, okay? Now this Play-Doh will last about 2 weeks, okay? It lasts a little bit longer if you put it in the fridge. And you can always add more flour or more water, depending on how it's feeling, to make it work a little bit better for you, okay? So you can keep on working on your Play-Doh at home. You could even, if you have cookie cutters, you could use those to cut out shapes with your Play-Doh. You can, like I said, you can tear it into pieces to count, like we were working on our counting and adding and subtracting this week. You could break a piece off and turn it into a letter. So I'm going to make the letter A, a lowercase a. So there is one side. Make sure you can see that. So now it looks like the letter A. Hold it up to make sure you can see. Okay? You can use it for all sorts of stuff. Spelling your name. You could practice spelling the name of the street that you live on. You could just play with it, right? It feels really funny. It's very soft and squishy. So I hope you enjoyed science today. I hope you guys get a chance to do this experiment at home. Like I said, for parents and grandparents and whoever's working on this with the students, I will put up another recipe that doesn't require the cream of tartar. It just doesn't last as long, but it works just as well. It still makes Play-Doh. And I will see you guys later on. Bye.